be around the equator. So at this point, there are lots of different ways to remember this. Low pressure, that's like when you squeeze and release and squeeze and release. Releasing the bottle, that's low pressure. That's when you get clouds and rain. Low pressure is also like rising air. It's not pressing down on you. The rising air is wet. So this whole area is going to be wet more or less the year round. However, one of these two sides of the continent is going to be a little bit wetter than the other one. One of them is going to be more humid and it's going to get more rain. So I'll say this in a way that I think will help you remember it. This side, imagine it this way. Say you go into a bathroom and somebody has just gone in there and taken a hot, steamy shower. So so they took a hot, steamy shower. That's what this side is like. This has got warm water. This is a bathroom with a steamy shower. Now, if you go into a bathroom and somebody has gone in there and just taken a cold shower, that's like this side where the cold water is.
Oh my God!
Which of these two sides is gonna create more rainfall? The warm water side or the cold water side?
Warm.
The warm. This is like the hot, steamy bathroom. This is the cold, non-steamy bathroom. So this whole area is going to be a rainforest, except the rainforest is going to be smaller on which side?
On that side.
Cold side. And bigger on the warm water side. And what color are rainforests when seen from a satellite?
Green. Dark green.
Totally.
So this rainforest should be a little wider than the doldrums on the east side and a little bit narrower than the doldrums on the west side. So it should, what's the name for a triangle that's had its point cut off?
A fellow triangle.
Close. Begins with a T.
A train.
Trapezoid.
Trapezoid. So it's kind of trapezoidal. So it should go all the way across. There'll be theoretically there should be a rainforest here, and it should be all the way across because there's low pressure. But it's going to be not quite as wet over here because the water is cooler, and that cooling influence creates less rising air and just less general steaminess. On this side, it's like being near a hot tub. And that's going to steam the place up and make more rising air, which causes more precipitation. Hannah.
So I take showers, right? Yeah, really
Me
hot
too.
Really hot showers. And there's a fire alarm thing right outside our bathroom. And
Really?
every
Oh,
morning
outside the
at
bathroom.
like 5 o'clock in the morning, you hear the fire alarm go off because I forget to shut the door and all the steam comes out.
Well, do you have a fan in the bathroom?
Yeah, I just turn it on.
Yeah. There are two things you messed up there. Turn the fan on and keep the door closed. But anyway, you're right. Now, that's where the major rainforest is going to be because the pressure is low. So tell me when I get to the major desert.
No. Wait, yeah, no, yes.
Oh, I'm confused.
No, yes.
Tell me when I get to the major desert. When am I at the desert?
Right
Right here. Now the desert's a little different. You can have a rainforest connecting to the cold water side. But can you imagine a desert going right up next to and touching the hot, steamy hot tub? No, it just doesn't really happen. So the desert's going to be kind of the same thing, but it's bigger on the cold water side, and it does not quite reach the steamy water side. So this is the year-round wet, this is the year-round dry. Right around here it's not quite desert-like because of that warm water influence. Over here it's even drier because of the influence of the cold water. And there's one more major place on here that's going to be either desert or rainforest. Which is it going to be, desert or rainforest?
Desert.
Desert, where is it?
Right there.
There?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to ask you a trick question. Last class I got the person. So in the northern hemisphere, this desert doesn't quite reach the east side. Down in the southern hemisphere, the desert's not going to quite reach the east or west side?
West.
East side,
But
gotcha.
it's still hot there.
Yeah, because it's still hot there.
West side.
So the desert's going to be just the same kind of thing. There's desert all along here because there's high pressure, sinking air, but it's going to peter out before it gets to the warm water side over there. It's going to be bigger on the cold water side. So we've got everything. Did you like peter out? So on this little list of all the stuff that we're doing on this continent, we've got pressure belts. The pressure belts make the winds. The winds make the ocean currents. The ocean currents influence the year-round wet and dry. And then we've got the last part, the coastal wet. And just in case you're curious, my son has band rehearsal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Well,
Is he
my
in 6th grade?
for whatever reason, it's on my calendar that he has
Wait,
band
is he in
rehearsal.
7th grade?
7th grade.
That's why.
Yeah. Okay. I had a student once upon a time who could not understand this, and if you're that student, I'm sorry. I'll try to help you. But this next concept, coastal wet, I'm going to try to explain it to you right now. So, imagine this is a continent, but it's really a piece of sandpaper. But imagine it's a continent, and this is ocean all around. So it's an island continent. You with me?
Yeah.
Ocean, ocean, ocean. This is land. Now my hand is going to be the wind. The wind is blowing like this. Everybody watch. Emily, you're missing it.
What?
The wind is blowing like this. I'll do it again. The wind is blowing like this. It's coming from your left and it's blowing to your right, blowing across the continent. So the question that I would ask this student is, on which side of the continent is the wind coming off the water and hitting the land? So
Right.
is it doing that on the left side or the right side?
Left.
The left. So this, yeah. So the question is, the wind is coming off the water. Here's the water. The wind is over the water. Where is it coming from the water and hitting the land? And the answer is right here. It's on the water, on the water, on the water. It hits the land right there. And then it goes across the land. And then it goes back to the water again. So which of these two coastlines, the left one or the right one, which one do you think is going to get more rain?
The left.
The one where the air came right off the ocean, or the one where the air came across the land?
Across. Right.
Do you think it's going to be this left side or the right side?
Right.
Left. Right.
Well, the answer is, if the wind is blowing like this coast is going to be really wet. And it's going to be wet because, look, this air is over the ocean. It's evaporating all sorts of moisture. It's soaking up water from the ocean. And then when it hits the land, it's going to drop it all right there. This coast, when the air gets to it, did it just come from a wet place or a dry place?
Dry place.
It's coming from a dry place to get to this coast. So this isn't going to be wet over here, but this is going to be wet because the wind is coming from a wet place. And this, see if I can zoom in on this map again. I have trouble with this, but come on. Okay. So you can't exactly see this. Can you see Mexico there? Florida? Okay. Somewhere right around here is Seattle. That's where I used to live. And it was wet for a few reasons. But one of the reasons was, see how these winds are blowing? They're coming off the Pacific Ocean, and then they're picking up all sorts of moisture, and then they hit the land. So this area right along here is wet, partly because of that. It also then has to rise up the mountains, and rising air is wet. But that was a big thing that made this area wet.
Did it rain a lot?
So it did. It rained a lot. Now, I'm going to go around this continent and have you help me find places that are wet, what we call them coastal wet. They're wet because of the wind coming from the ocean. So you're looking for wind that's coming from the ocean to the land. Is this one of those places right here where my pencil tip is? Is there wind coming from the ocean to the land?
No.
No, because there's no wind. What's the air doing in the doldrums?
Dying out.
Rising.
Rising. It's not blowing side to side, it's just rising. Okay, how about here? Is the wind coming from the ocean?
No. Yeah. No.
Oh, let me set my
Yes.
pencil down.
Yes.
Yeah, see the wind is going like this. This is the ocean, this is the land. The wind is going right across here and hitting the land. So this area, right through here, is going to be wet, and I'm using a slightly different shading pattern for it. Notice how I'm making it thick near the rainforest and thin near the desert. Wet places get bigger near rainforests and smaller near deserts. And I'm going to label this. This is coastal wet. And there are going to be 4 places on this continent that are coastal wet. Can I move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, you tell me when I get there. I'll keep testing. Right here, is this the next place?
No. Yes.
No. Is there wind at all?
No.
No. You've got to have wind from the ocean. How about here? Is there wind coming from the ocean here?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Here's the wind. It's blowing like that. Here, this is the land, this is the ocean. It looks like it's coming from the land, correct? How about over here?
Yes.
Yeah, sort of, but depending on the shape of this. If I draw my wind slanted a little more, maybe right along here, because the wind is blowing like this. From the ocean, maybe across the tip there. That's kind of a dinky one. How about right here? Is there wind coming from the ocean?
No. Yes. No.
There's not, because there's not any wind. What's the wind doing in high pressure, or the air doing?
Hot
Right in the
rising.
clouds.
Sinking. This is sinking air. How about right here? Is the wind coming from the ocean?
No.
No, it's coming from the land. How about here?
Yes. No.
Is there
No.
wind, first of all?
No.
No.
No. So we can move on. Is there wind here?
No.
Yes, but it's not going towards the land.
Right, it's coming from the land. It's going from right to left. Is there wind here?
No.
No, it's just sinking air there. Is there wind here?
Yes.
Is it coming from the ocean hitting the land?
Yes.
Yes. So right along here, this would be wet. So we've
Another
got
dinky one.
another dinky one. Depends on the shape of that corner. If that corner was sticking out more, it would get hit better. How about right over here? Is the wind coming from the ocean?
No.
Nope. Is there wind here?
No.
No. Is there wind here?
Yeah. Yes, but it's not.
Is it coming from the ocean?
Yes.
Yes, it's coming like that. So those are the 4 coastal wet places. And that's just about all there is to the weather on this continent. So that was practice 1. Guess what comes next?
Practice 2.
Practice 2. So now this is a chance to see if you can do it. See if you can do it on your own.
Wait, Mr. Stapleton.
Not the whole thing. I won't make you do the whole thing.